Aloha, my kako. This is Oracle of the Golden Spiral. Today we're going to be doing a reading for Libra. Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising, please. What are the messages for Libra? Sun, Moon, and Rising. The messages have no dates, therefore when they find you, that's when I believe that the message is yours. Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising, please. Okay. Let's get one for the King of Pentacles. Oh, that's too many. You see how many that is? That's way too many. Let's do King of Pentacles for Libra, please. Libra, you have the Lovers, the Fool, the Two of Swords, the Two of Cups, the King of Pentacles, the Eight of Cups, and the Ten of Wands. This is a decision in love, even though they were very excited to tell me about this before, and now they don't want to tell me anything about this King of Pentacles. Did I say King of Cups? Good Lord. King of Pentacles, please. It's too many. Let's do the King of Pentacles, please. Okay. Okay, I see what's going on. Eight of Cups. Can I get one for Libra for the Eight of Cups? Okay, the feeling that I'm getting off of this, Libra, while you wait for the clarifier for the Eight of Cups is great. Okay. So, this is a moment where there comes a time in every relationship where you wonder where it's going. In the beginning, you have this very distinct fight or flight response that's going on right now. In the past, everything was going well, but somehow you've worked yourself to this place where you think there's two truths and you can't mitigate the difference, right? You can't make those two truths work. So one of the truths must be truth. So you've engaged your intellect. I don't want to say intelligence because that alludes to the fact that that's the answer. And in this case, it is not the answer. There's a fight or flight response that's going on. And perhaps this is something that you've dealt with before, and I want to say, don't get mad at me, don't kill the messenger, but you've engaged your intellect before, and you've thought of all the reasons why. This reminds me of Friends. So do you, I'm not sure if you remember Friends. It's kind of an older sitcom, and it's Chandler Bing. It's like him always, he had a problem with commitment, and so I'm not saying that's what you have, but this is very reminiscent of that feeling where it's like, well, why not this one? Well, if you know the sitcom, then you know about Janice, and it's like, well, Janice's voice, and things like that. It's like we engage our intellect and we find a reason why this is not going to work for us, right? So one of the reason it stuck with me all these years is that one of his reasons was she smelled like soup. And so it's like, while we think we're engaging our intellect, like the feeling that I'm getting is that we're finding a reason, and it doesn't necessarily have to be rational, to get rid of it, to cut it out of our lives, because it's not, we're trying to be there's this pragmatism to this, right? Where it's like, I'm trying to be pragmatic. Well, I mean, how can you spend the rest of your life with someone who smells like soup, you know? But really, it's dealing with a bigger and bigger underlying issue, which is that it may not be that you're not, that you're, is that a double negative? It may not be that you're adverse to, it may be that you are adverse to commitment. But I don't think that's necessarily what it is. I think that it is, again, we're engaging that fight or flight response, right? And so here are the two ways that we can go. But, and this wolf is very important because it's almost like I'm going to just cut it off before it, I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to cut it off so that it doesn't, so nothing bad happens, right? It's that fierce defender. But really, when it comes down to it, it's that we're hitting that, it's not that it could very well be that it's not that you are adverse to commitment. It's just that we're at a threshold that you've reached before. And for some reason or another, even though everything has been wonderful and heartwarming thus far, we're at a point where we can get in deeper than is comfortable for us. We start thinking of all the reasons that this can't be the forever. This can't be what we're looking for, right? And at that point, it becomes, when we engage the heart energy is there, but when we engage that thought energy, that's where we get all confused. And I think that what you're projecting is, I should exit this situation. But your advice is to carry it through to the end, to have it be that burden of choice, to have it, not that it's a burden, but you understand the concept of that, right? Which is to carry it through and see it through until the end, to not up and vanish, to not, this fight or flight is a very ghosting type of energy that's going on. These three cards right here, you'll see what I mean. If you go ahead and you look up the Lovers, the Fool, and the Two of Swords. But I think you're projecting out that you're going to move on to something that's more for you, or, you know, speaks to you, or because you're in your intellect. So, of course, we're trying to get back to our emotion, right? We were there, but we've hit that threshold, and now we're engaging sensibility. No. Well, in English terms, it would be sense, right? Sense and sensibility, sense. But really, it's asking you to maintain that path with your sensibility, to make it your burden of choice, because it will, how do I explain this energy? It's like, you think you're moving, it's sensible to move on from it. We're making an excuse for why it's not going to work, and so we're going to turn our back on it and walk away. But in carrying it through, we find all the reasons that change that dynamic, that have the wheel start to spin in our favor, that create the Nine of Cups, that create that fulfillment. That personal fulfillment, and adding that person's other cup creates the Ten of Cups. Can I get one more for the Ten of Wands, please? There's a reason there's a lot of tens here. They could present as ones, right? Tens are ones, but it's the beginning and the end, right? Omega. But there's a reason it's presenting at tens. one for the Ten of Wands, please. Can I get a clarifier? That's too many. Libra, for the Ten of Wands, please tell us why Libra has the Ten of Wands. Right, because if we can carry it through and make it all the way, the Ten of Wands is getting to that castle, right? We're not giving up. We didn't give up when it was 9. We are pressing on, and finally we made it to the destination, and we're putting down that which was heavy and challenging. And what happens, you see this circular motion right here? This moves us on into a brand new, exciting realm. I think we're afraid of crossing the threshold, but what we'll find is that what's on the other side of that is our Nine of Cups and is our passionate, excitement and new beginning. New beginning. It alludes to it. One more for the Ten of Wands for Libra, please. And it becomes all that's nurturing, everything that we have to nurture that pentacle, that seed to fruition. The only way we can do that, and the only way we'll ever truly know, is if we carry it to its fulfillment. Is there anything more I want to say about this? Sometimes when I look back at the videos, I'm like, I should have said this. So, you can watch it once, twice, come back a week later. It might be different, right? What we see is different. Yeah, right now it's that we're not trusting if it's reality or fantasy. We have that threshold is this it or what else is out there, right? But you got to trust this feeling that you had. It's really about the heart space and not about what is appropriate and do we have ultimate clarity on this. The Queen of Swords also alludes to the fact that there's, something, I won't negate that something has happened in the past, or whether this is just like a repeated cycle that continues on for you once you hit that threshold, right? So I challenge you to work beyond that threshold, to make it beyond Libras are the scales of the tarot. They are the balance. They are that decision making, weighing. And so sometimes, you can see both sides, and so you have a hard time making the choice. But this alludes to the fact that you've made the same choice over and over, and this time it's asking you to make a different choice. Move from the 7 to the 8. Don't get stuck in the reassessment and the fear. Sometimes when we fear, we become the wolf, right? Better to eat than to be eaten. And I think it's asking you to bear it, to trust, to have that fortitude to complete it, and therein will lie your answer to this confusion. Getting Queen, is it real life or is it just fantasy? It has that effect here too. All right, Libra, I think that's where I have it. I think that's all I have for this at the moment. I truly wish you the best, and please go ahead and come back and watch it again later and see if anything I said resonates in a different way. Sometimes that happens. I have this distinct feeling that the decision you make now is not going to be, there's going to be some kind of change in dynamic, and that you hearing this the first time will be so much different than you hearing it the second time. But in any case, thank you for your likes and subscribes, and as always, Libra, mahalo.